Welcome to Pause and Proceed podcast. I'm your girl, Bridgett LaRé.
And I'm your second host, SB.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all, back for another episode.
Now, this is episode 13, right?
It is.
So, because I think on the last episode, we was saying it was 13.
No, it wasn't. I watched it.
Did we say that, though? Oh, I felt like I did.
Yeah, you were convinced.
Are
I
you
said,
And you know what? I watched it too, and I didn't even notice that I did not say that.
it's okay. I let you. I was like, well, hey, I don't know. Let me just go back
See,
and
we
watch
had that
it.
conversation. This would not have been a thing right now.
Well, I didn't know you was going to address that.
I didn't either. Surprise, surprise.
Yes, this is episode 13.
Episode 13.
Choo,
Lucky
choo.
13.
Oh, yay. We're tracking along.
Yeah. So the thing is, people say 13 is a bad luck number, bad luck and all that. Do you know a lot of elevators? Or I don't think any elevator. Have you ever seen a 13th floor?
I've heard of that. Like, they don't do the 13th floor because I don't know if it's because of the superstition, but I have heard of that. But I never really kind of did research to see if that's true.
It's absolutely true.
It's true, right?
I've seen it. Lots of elevators don't have a 13th floor.
So all this come to mind because of, what is it?
Hey, Solomon.
Michael Myers? Yeah, hey, Solomon.
Hey, now.
Wait, no. Jason is Friday the 13th, right?
Yes.
Did that come up or was that before Jason? Because, that was old.
Oh, it's way before that.
Yeah, I think it's
see.
old
Nothing to do
witch
with that.
tale.
I don't
That's nothing to do
know
with
the
that.
history of all of that.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not going to conform to that because I'm not going to conform to the things of this world. Like Romans 12:2 tell us. Don't conform to the things of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Come on with the biblical cations.
Now, y'all got to look that one up. I know that's what it says.
Listen, it sounds good.
It's one of my favorite scriptures because,
you
I
got
live
this,
a life of
man.
transformation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how we transform, by the renewing of our mind. We talk a lot about
the belief system.
our belief systems.
Yeah.
What we believe, that dictate how we feel. How we feel dictate how we behave.
Yeah.
So in order to transform, we got to renew that mind.
You're right. I don't feed into that. I used to as a kid, that
Yeah.
Friday the 13th energy, but it's more so if you're going to believe it, then it's going to boomerang and hit you back in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's something that you have believed in
Mm-hmm.
that may not be true, or just something that just always been there, maybe superstitious?
Superstitious. I did believe in that, the Friday the 13th thing, but I turned that around. I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to be freaking out on every Friday the 13th and thinking something bad is gonna happen. This is obnoxious.
Yeah.
Oh, when I was a kid, I used to think everything, which may have a little validity, but not everything. Everything that happens to your parents will happen to you. Because I remember my dad, he was stung by bees. He told me a story when he's been like stung maybe like 7 times.
God dang.
I know, but that's because he would just, they was swimming in lakes and stuff back. I mean, people still swimming in lakes, but more so, especially back then, because of segregation
environment.
and blah, 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 So when he told me that, I remember I had to be like 6 or 7, and I was like, oh, man, I guess that means I'm going to get stung 7 times by bees. And he was the one like, no, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I used to think everything that happens to your parents is going to happen to you, even though there is not everything, but there's an energy there when it comes to, people call it generational curses.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So,
generational curses. Let's
generational
get into that.
I guess we can get into that.
Topic.
Right. That's a ding. That's what we're going to talk about today. Why not? It's a real thing, though. It's a real thing. I'm still trying to kind of, because it's different than the Friday the 13th thing, because we've been kind of taught the Friday the 13th situation,
Yeah.
But when it comes to generational curses, people could not even like meet their parents or know certain things about their parents and end up repeating certain cycles. It's trippy.
Yeah.
How that happens.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it, and I feel like I've experienced
It's
that
embedded in
myself.
the DNA.
That mitochondria or something.
Man, look, that's what Dr. Maya Angelou. Dr. Maya Angelou.
Yes.
So I love that quote from her. She said, if you don't know where you came from, then history is going to continue to repeat itself.
Mm.
You don't know where you came. If you don't know, then you're going to continuously repeat the cycle. So I
So
think that is so
weird.
bizarre.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but like I think about like
Energy
the
is
older
real.
generation, let's say baby boomers.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I find baby boomers don't like to share their past, and a lot of them, the things that they've been through.
Yeah.
So they want to portray themselves as perfect. Like, oh, I've never done this. I've never smoked weed. I was never promiscuous. How dare you? And then here come their daughter and granddaughter and family members repeating the same cycle, but then
Mm-hmm.
they're feeling judged because nobody wanted to keep it real with them and let them know, hey, I've been through this too. I'm with you. Like that's something. It's life. It's something you're gonna grow through. Keep
Mm-hmm.
pushing. So that's something that I felt like I needed as a child, just for somebody to be like, look, you're not alone in this. You're
Yeah.
not crazy. You're not, doomed. You're not
Yeah.
some fast ass little girl,
Right.
you know, and that everything will work out. Everything's gonna be okay. This
Mm-hmm.
this is growing pains.
Yeah.
So that has been my drive in my adult years, is to be the woman for the younger girls in my family that I needed.
Well, see, we have the tools, more so the tools now to tap into that vulnerability, to look
Yeah.
into the mirror. That it was so much more difficult for our parents' generation. They weren't used to doing that. They were used to being shamed and being
Oh yeah,
ashamed
yeah.
and trying to disassociate themselves with that shame by any means,
Mhm.
which is damaging.
Yeah,
It's
man.
very
Yeah.
damaging.
And the thing is, it just goes so deep. I read some passages from this book, Dr. Joy DeGruy.
Hmm.
It's called PTSD, Post Traumatic Slave Disorder. And one of the things she talked about is how a lot of the relationships between black women and their daughters is kind of off. They have like this, um, button heads type of thing.
Hmm.
So I never thought about this, but she said something like, back in the days, when they were slaves, when our people were slaves, in order for the mom to protect her daughter from the slave owners, she would, down her daughter, like, oh no, she's stupid. You don't want her. Like she can't, she don't even know how to wash her panties. Just something to degrade her daughter so
Yeah.
that master don't rape and take her daughter.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff like that has been passed down into our DNA.
Yeah, it's been lost in translation.
Yeah. And the same with what we call deadbeat fathers now. Well, a lot of them were taken away from their families.
Hmm.
Even when they tried to stand up, they were taken away and sent into these dungeons where they were beaten and killed because they were taken up for their families.
And it's the same when it comes to mothers and their sons, Lord.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
You know
Lord
what I mean?
Jesus.
That goes back to that
Yeah.
PTSD, that
Hmm.
post traumatic slave disorder,
Yeah,
trying to
man.
protect that son and trying to favor that son, and that's why you have a
Mm.
lot of black moms that will coddle their sons, their grown up sons, and I've seen it. I've seen it. I love my daddy to the deacons, but my grandmother really. My dad was still staying with my grandmother and everything.
When
Like,
he passed?
yeah,
How old was he?
my dad was 53, but he has he has some issues
Mm.
going on as far as like substance abuse. You know what I mean? So I remember I had a conversation with her one time and I was like, Grandma, what? He's a grown man. Get him on out of here.
Hmm.
Get him out,
Right.
Granny. And she was like, she took a deep breath in and she was like, Shara, at my old age, if I put your dad out and something happened to him, I wouldn't forgive myself. And I felt that when she said that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I was like, if this giving her peace or her baby being here and she knows that he's here, I'm not a parent. So I don't, that connection. I was like, by all means, I get it.
So
But
like a
even,
bird, she was feeding him from her mouth, like chewing his food up and
I
for a
mean,
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
But you don't
much.
put them out. You don't throw them off the ledge. They'll
Hmm.
never learn how to fly.
And I think and it's not like he's never, because apparently we were a family at one point in
Right.
time. But yeah, and I see it with my friends. You probably could attest to this. I'm not sure about the dynamic,
Oh,
but I see
honey,
it
I've
with my
had
friends.
boyfriends who were mama's babies.
Right, but even like my friends and their brothers,
Yeah.
and the dynamic they have with their mom, and the
Mhm.
dynamic that their mom and brother have, like, I don't know, you see it all the time.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not. I only can speak from the Black experience. I'm not sure about other cultures and whatnot, but yeah, I see that, and I think it does have some type of lineage to what we're talking about with the PTSD.
Oh yeah, man, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. So back to like, stories and superstitions and things of that matter. I felt like for a very long time, like one of the things that stuck with me, my story wasn't so much a superstition. It was just my belief that I am. We were just talking about that before when we like,
Yes.
oh, I'm this girl, I'm this black
I
girl
like
from
how
the
you
ghetto.
segue to that because that's important. I like,
You like
yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 yeah. I think, yes,
Thank you.
continue.
Proceed. Okay.
Proceed.
Well, yeah, I think about like my story. We talked about that on the last episode too, like how we grieve things. And I
Yeah.
said one of the things I realized that I would grieve will be my story. But I'm like, gosh, that's really something that I'm working on right now. Even today, I'm not saying that I'm over it and that's not my story anymore
Yeah.
because I still have a way of seeing myself. And one of the greatest forces humans is to be consistent with the way we see ourselves. That's the greatest human personality, the force. Is if we see ourselves as unworthy, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that is consistent, that we are
Oh,
unworthy. We're going to
gosh.
see everything in front of us unworthy, unworthy, unworthy. The consistency, we're going to make sure we're consistent.
Don't pay
What's
me
the
no
foot
mind.
shaking? What you got going on over there? Shoe cam.
My leg went to
What's
sleep. I
oh
was trying to wake it up. That's all it does. Just keep going. Don't pay me no mind.
That's funny. Usually I'm the one doing stuff. I was like, cause you know how you do this with your hand, like when the Holy Spirit taking. I was like, the Holy Spirit taking over her foot.
Oh
The
no.
foot was just the shaking.
Trying to wake this thing up.
What's going on with you? The boots too heavy?
No, it's when I cross over here. And I'm like, dang, this circulation. So let me just.
Oh, let's make note of this. SB
What?
is the one that's having issues over here,
I'm not having mic issues.
but you having like body mechanic issues. I'm just sitting here, just all still, and my body is just grounded.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I
so
guess it's
I
about my
passed it on to
turn.
you.
That's fine. It was about my
Yeah.
turn.
Maybe that's a superstition thing. It got to jump off from one person to the other.
What?
They say, spirits transfer.
That energy is real.
That energy is real.
I'm gonna throw it back to you.
I'm chilling.
We can throw it out the window.
I'm chilling. So I'm getting rid of like all those negative, limiting beliefs that's been holding me back, keeping me stagnant, and just the story period. Like I was in this training. I know I love me a good training, right?
She loves her
Y'all
good
know I'm
training,
always in the training, like every weekend doing something.
She never saw a training she didn't like.
Never saw the training I didn't like. I never went to a training I didn't learn something from where I can come back and talk about it with you.
Exactly.
So I was in this training, and these are people who I've been around for many years, and we watched this video. Gosh, I wish I could think of the name of this video, but it was this lady, Jane Elliott. And Jane Elliott, she showed, she did an experiment. It was about, racism. And this was back in the 80s. She did an experiment with her third or fourth grade class. And it was about like how to not judge those people. She said, what if, she told the class, it was full of white kids. She's white as well. What if you were judged by the color of your eyes? So she would have like the blue-eyed kids. She made them feel like they were better, and throughout the whole day, the blue-eyed kids was better. And then the brown-eyed kids had to wear like a collar around their neck, like a black collar, and they were discriminated against. Everything that the brown-eyed kid did, It was like, see, look at those brown-eyed kids. And the kids just fell in place. Like, they just fell in place.
Yeah.
And like the blue-eyed kids, like, yeah, they're stupid. They're this, they're that. And then the next day, she switched it around. Now the brown-eyed kids were the ones that they're smart, they're this, they're that, they're like
Yeah.
high level.
Yeah.
And then the blue-eyed kids were the dumb ones. And the brown-eyed kids, they fell into place. And everywhere she would go, she would do these experiments with grown people. Everybody would fall in place. And I'm like, wow. So that made me really, really sad. And after they played it, I was crying. And the trainer was like, "What's going on for you?" I was like, I was just so like, if people would have known this, then I wouldn't have grew up with the story that I have, and my life would be different. And if I wasn't judged from the color of my skin, and now I got to be this strong black woman, and da da da. I went into like victim mode. And one of the white girls in the room, she was like, "Bridgett, I've heard this story from you like 10 times." I was like, "What?" I was like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, what you talking about? This is my first time saying this story.
Mhm.
But no, it wasn't. And I thought about it. I'm like, damn, I do say that a lot. Like that, I didn't even recognize that had been my story. Like, if this, then I would have been this, and then I could have been that. Just holding on to all these coulda, woulda, shouldas. And it's like, okay, what happened. Now what you gonna do?
You know what? You saying, yeah. You made me think of a story I've been holding on to. You right
Holding
about
on.
that.
We fight for those limitations. What story you been holding on
Yeah.
to?
I think I've been holding on to the story that I wasn't pushed enough as a child. And if I was pushed to my potential, I was the type of child, I pushed myself, but I needed my parents to pay more attention to me. I needed them to be more involved.
Yeah.
And I think I held on to that throughout the years, like maybe I'm not consistent with what I do, or, I quit things because I didn't have that push as an adolescent. But it's like, you got to push yourself at this point. And not saying that I haven't, but I think I go back to that as an excuse.
Yeah. It's so easy.
It's a crutch.
Gosh.
It's a crutch. And
It's because of you, Mom.
Yeah, and I don't
It's
wanna,
like, grow up.
it's like, grow the F up. For real. For real. 'Cause
Push yourself.
I'm tired of the story.
So tired of the story. Like when she said that, I was like, and then she came up to me afterwards. She was like, "Are we okay?" I was like, "Yeah, we're okay." Because
I like the fact that she came up and said
Yeah.
she was. I'm glad she had that awareness.
yeah, because then someone was like, "Bridgett, how are you feeling right now?" And then I was like, "I feel judged. I feel this. Just all the like negative, low vibrations that I was feeling." And so she felt like I felt like she was judging me. So she said, she came to me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes." I was like, "Girl, I needed to hear that."
Yeah.
Because it was like a ding,
Mm-hmm.
light bulb going off. Like,
Yeah.
damn, quit telling this story. Like, because I've been holding on to it, and that's what I've been believing.
And it's been in a constant rotation.
And I've been
The
making sure I've been
tongue.
consistent with it.
Yeah.
If that's the story I've been carrying around with me, like shackles on my feet, I'm going to make sure I'm this strong black woman that don't need nobody.
You got no shackles on your feet.
Oh, no.
You owe me. I'm sorry, Genuine.
Oh, Genuine.
You remember that song? It's just funny. You said shackles, and that's what the mental jukebox
for
went
shackles,
to.
I would have thought you would take the shackles off my feet so I can dance.
Nah.
I just want to praise
I was
him.
just listening to
Just
Genuine
wanna
yesterday.
praise him.
Ooh.
Ooh. I'm sorry. Genuine is amazing.
But
Like his music back in the days, like untouchable. But when he did that on stage,
he is an older man.
I know y'all seen it. If y'all ain't seen it, go on TikTok, check out the Genuine dance. He was on stage and he did the little slide and he did the
See, that's why it's important to
To stop
take
when you ahead.
care. I'm sorry?
stop while you're ahead.
Okay. All right. What do you mean?
I mean, like he just because it's like now anytime somebody think about Genuine, they gonna
I know.
put that picture, that video up of him doing that.
But we know
I see
the
him as the sexy.
Genuine.
Yeah, honey, let's do
But he
it.
didn't keep it up, and and I'm not okay. Granted, he's older, but I saw MC Hammer is still getting to it. So you got to keep moving. The lesson is you got to keep moving. And then you can't get on the buggy like you still got those moves from about 20 years ago.
Yeah, you gotta grow old gracefully.
Yes.
Gracefully.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, but still have fun. He was having fun.
He was
Whatever.
having fun. Exactly.
Have fun. Do you, Genuine? I love you. You still sexy. You still sexy.
I wish he would have kept it up. It would have been nice to see him kind of get down with the get down.
Yeah.
Because if Hammer still got it, Hammer's still hammering.
He hammering with the. You know the hammer pants are in now. You see people wearing those nowadays. Those big like
I ain't surprised.
parachute type of pants.
I ain't
No?
surprised. I
You
mean, I
got
feel like they come in and out. The harem pants, I think they come in and
Oh.
out. I don't know.
I would have thought you would have had some. You a fashion person.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not gonna go into.
No, I wasn't saying like I'm not, but it's
Okay.
like I don't be on top of the stuff like that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see if I like it, I might have it on, but if not, you know.
Yeah.
And
You gonna do
sometimes
you.
I just don't keep up with it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you pushing 40.
What that mean?
I mean, you know.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Yes. What does that mean?
I mean,
Ageism?
I was referencing, you talking about last episode that someone he about to say something. Last
Did
you
you
episode.
about
just
to say
out her
something.
age on the podcast?
I know you pushing 40.
What's last
What
episode?
type of-
She was saying she felt like she looked like
Northwest.
Northwest. Yeah.
But so you feeding into my insecurity. Talking about you pushing 40.
Well, I'm saying maybe you not paying attention to the new fashion out here.
Okay, I take it back.
Because
You
like
right.
with music, I
Right.
don't. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
all the new artists. I don't know a lot of the new artists
Yeah.
because I am 40 and I work and I'm working on healing and all this other stuff that come with adulting. So I don't know.
Priorities. We ain't trying to be on top of the new lingo, everything that's new, because the older you become, I mean, sometimes it goes like this, but traditionally, the older you become, your interests change.
Yeah,
Your
man.
priorities change.
Yeah.
Like we had more time on our hands.
And your
to
free
be-
time, you want to take a nap.
That's what I'm saying. And regroup and recharge.
Yeah.
Okay, and rejuvenate.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be. Y'all can have it. I'll catch it when I'm supposed to catch it. I got my mitt ready.
See, that's why when we're middle age, you make your own lane.
Yeah.
You make your own lane. It's like I'm not following this fad because
I'm enjoying that actually.
yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
make my own because I don't know what the fad is. So I'm just gonna do me. I don't know if what I got on is hip.
So you know what? I think that's why me and Solomon just had like a mini conversation because he was asking me about the fashion stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him, like, I'm not really into fashion design. I'm not really into styling. But the costume design, because I don't really keep up with trends. They
Mhm.
just come across me and I'm just not. I like trends. If I like something I like, but I'm not constantly keeping up with the new and improved things. That's just not me.
Speaking of keeping up,
Mhm.
we really got to get some cups.
We will.
This is cute though, right?
We're getting it is cute.
Mhm.
It's nice and what is it? Effervescent.
We got to get some pause and proceed.
We will. The merch is coming soon. We're working
Merch
on
coming
it.
soon,
Merch is
y'all.
coming. Boom, 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 boom. Solomon.
Solomon, where is our thingy-majingy?
Uh-oh. You
Uh,
delayed. Wait, where's our...
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You
to
know
set
we
it up.
like to play.
Yes, and he acting like he don't know where it is.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You get concierge service today.
That
Thank you. We appreciate
That
that.
was a little late.
It was
a little-
very late. He was
It
like he was
was.
looking for it or something.
He talking about like
I had to make up an excuse. What do I need
we
a
didn't
minute
even
for
hear
that.
an excuse. You didn't even say nothing. You was just like
Yeah, they start looking to the
No,
side.
I said I forgot
like-
to set it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my excuse.
I forgive you.
All right.
That's because
fine.
forgiveness is key.
It is
Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is forgiving.
key.
I do have a
like
question
that.
for you though.
Yeah.
You made reference to the whole strong black woman thing,
Uh-huh.
and that's come up a lot because you have a lot of men who go on podcasts and say the strong black woman is what is now outdated.
Mhm.
Like it was something that was needed at one point because men were in prison and because women had to take care of the families, and now it's actually a hindrance to black families coming back together and being stronger.
Mhm.
Do you feel like that's something, and not to say that's you, you're saying it's who you could be.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's something that would stop you from, like, dating, finding the right person, just by sort of being almost like unapproachable in that way, or do you feel like it's something you can overcome?
Do I Okay, let me make sure let me rephrase it for clarity.
Okay.
You're asking me, do I feel like being strong will get in the way
No,
of me
the
dating?
the stereotypical strong black woman.
Oh, yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like uh
I know. It's that. That's why
like,
that
oh God,
topic.
it's getting heavy in
That
here,
topic, right? Let me
Solomon.
shift in my seat.
Oh, I'm being so still.
I know I'm the one that's first.
I'm
I'm a
so proud
little
of myself.
chilly.
So, okay. Well, for me, I didn't recognize that I had this strong black woman persona, right? I was just going, handling business. It's because that's just what I knew to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was I didn't see I didn't have any role models of, a strong black family, loving, besides
Yes.
the Cosby show, but that wasn't
Yeah.
real. That wasn't in front of me.
Right.
So I just did what I felt I needed to do, which was go to school, get an education, make some money, take care of myself.
Yeah.
Like never need nobody for anything. I didn't know that's how I would set myself up, but that's what happened. And to be honest, you really see that mostly in the black community. Like you'll see every other culture a woman go to school, have a family, like she does it that and. But with black women, for some reason it's been embedded in us. It's this or that. A career or a man. You know what I mean? Not all black women, because you see, I've seen it like in nursing school. I've seen some women they doing it. They man taking care of them while they going to school, and it's like no. I'm like, oh, that wasn't even on my radar. It's like, yeah, I had a boyfriend, but it's like, oh, I got to get this on my own. I gotta, you know what I mean? I didn't have that mindset.
Yeah.
It just it was out of it wasn't like normal for me. What was normal for me, what was comfortable and familiar to me, was the struggle. And I realized over the years I had been addicted to the struggle because we were talking the other day and I told SB like, man, I realized that I'm not afraid to allow my bank account to go to zero
Mm-hmm.
because over the years I've built up this love of the struggle. It's like, let me see how low I can go and see how far I can come back up. It was just like the hustle, the struggle. Like I grew up in the hood. Like I was selling drugs and running around with guns and and just doing a lot of stupid stuff that we can get into later. Oh, it's in the book, The First 33 Woman's Journey from Trash to Treasure. I talk about this stuff. I tell you all my hood stories. Um, but it was just the mindset. My mind wasn't set on family, like a unit, doing this with someone. What about you?
Yeah. So my dad, man, my dad, my mom, my dad, they separated when I was 5 or 6 years old. Maybe six. So I was very young. So I knew early on I love my parents to death, but I was like, I can't be like these Negroes. Like I knew
Yeah.
early on that I got to take care of myself. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I got a job as soon as I could get a job. I started buying things for myself that kids normally, you look to your parents to
Mhm.
purchase at a young age. So I was getting myself together at a young age. And I became a nurse at 20. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I just been on my own ever since then. No one has really helped me, but family here and there, but for the most part, I've been doing it by myself.
Yeah.
But I
That's the
didn't
energy you may have been projecting. Like, I don't need nobody to help me. I got this.
right, not unbeknownst to me.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me because I look at the things that I've some of the hurdles and challenges that I've gone through in my life. I'm like, dang, I've always had to just cry on my own shoulder.
Mhm.
And that gets exhausting. And I haven't want to portray this strong Black woman portrayal, but I just feel like this is the life I had to lead to get to where I am, to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, because how else am I gonna stand?
It's just familiar to you, like,
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know there's no book written, no instructions
Mhm.
to this thing. So
Yeah.
you do the best that you can. And I didn't have that.
Well, Steve Harvey did write the book. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And let me tell you, I got a friend.
I didn't finish that book.
I didn't either, but I got a friend who she swear by that book. She's like, I remember she was dating a guy at the same time I was dating a guy, and we would talk to each other about it, of course, how, what girls do. And the guy that she was dating is now her husband. She finished the book,
That's
and she was like,
good.
"Girl, I was using that stuff like it was the blueprint." Because she didn't grow up with, an example of a loving
Mhm.
marriage or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like nobody, a lot of people in her family wasn't married, single Black women.
Yeah.
Like we grow up, like a lot of Black communities grow up with a lot of single Black women raising other women to be single Black women. And she was like, I didn't want that for myself. So she like was really diligent in not having that and
Yeah.
having a family for herself. And now she's married. Her and her husband are doing great. They got a blended family, and like I'm just so proud of her. I'm like, girl, you did that. You did that. You
Maybe.
focused on it and you did it.
So you're gonna go back and that's gonna be the blueprint. You can go back and revisit the book.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Like I'm open. Like I told you, I deleted the little apps.
I'm proud of you.
But then I told you I went back on Facebook
But
and
you were
realized,
cleaning up though. That's
yeah,
different. That kind of just fell in place.
yeah,
Yeah.
it did. But so yeah, I got a date tonight.
Good. And I hope you enjoy. I hope it's
I'm
a
gonna
great
have
day.
some fun,
Yeah.
But I was telling her. So I was cleaning out I did delete all the apps, but then I went to Facebook to delete the app, and I didn't realize I was still on the Facebook dating app. So I was like, let me go delete this. But it was a guy that I didn't respond to, and it seemed like I was catfishing because the last thing he said was, "Hey, let's video chat," and like it's just been crickets for like 3 weeks. So I was like, let me respond to him. And we start talking. He asked me on a date. I'm like, let's see what happens. I don't know. Who knows? But now I'm gonna delete it. Because I'm just really, I understand that I can have love and still focus on all my projects and all the things that I desire
Yes.
to do.
Yes.
And I'm not about to be putting in all that energy. Like you was saying, SB told me the other day. We was hanging out the other day, Solomon. We was at one of my workspace where I go and do my writing.
Good.
Good. Because he asked us, do we hang out outside of
What?
here?
Shout out, what is it? Newhouse? How do you pronounce it?
It's the New A house.
New A house.
I wasn't
There
gonna
you
tell him
go.
where I hang out at, but you already said
It's
it.
like 10,000 locations.
But yeah, but it's the New A house. It's
Mhm.
really it's cute, and
Yeah. It's
you gotta buy a
fine.
membership to get in anyway, so you ain't no weirdo just about to be coming
See,
there.
there we go.
Yeah.
Right.
What about weirdos with money?
Well,
okay.
that's another thing. That's
a
another
different
thing.
thing. You right about that.
Hopefully they got
Solomon.
business about themselves that they ain't trying to just be some weirdo.
Yeah.
But so anyway, yeah, she was telling me like, what did you say to me?
So my friend, I know she wants to find love. I do. And I know she's doing the things as far as putting herself out there like you should be doing. But I know she really wants to find love. So I was like, how can I tell? I just,
I
I
want
don't
love
want
to
to hurt
find
her
me.
feelings. Well, right.
But I was okay. Go ahead.
Right.
Proceed.
So I was like, I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I just feel like I need to just, tell her something.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, Bridgett, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to tell you. So I think I asked I didn't want to give you unsolicited advice.
Mhm.
I asked if it was okay. I was like, listen, I know you want to find somebody. And I think I brought up the law of detachment because it says something in there about how we, I think I brought up the law of detachment
You
and
was real careful.
Abraham Hicks and all.
Yeah,
I
you
was.
did.
Because I'd like to be very careful with people's feelings. Like, I'm honest, and I think that's the Southerner in me, but I don't want to be too brash. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like you can be kind and be honest. You ain't got to, like, hit people in the gut all the time.
So what did you say?
So I was like, Bridgett, basically, you are beautiful inside and out.
Dear.
Just I used the
And I'm like,
example.
okay, where's
Right,
this
right,
going?
right. Where this going to? And I was like, I use Abraham Hicks because Abraham Hicks talks about resistance. And if you guys don't know Abraham Hicks, she's this spiritual coach, basically.
Oh, you said coach. Oh.
Did you just say coach?
I said
It's just
coach.
a Greek coach. She's a spirit.
No, I'm just.
She is a
But I
spiritual
told
coach.
you, I like me. I don't have like. Look, it's about looking at the results. A lot of people say things are culty. I do too. Like with the Gap community that I'm a part of, people say, "Oh, this is a cult." You said the New Way House seems culty, right? And
But when
I
I brought up, you was like, "Yeah, I kind of like culty stuff."
I said, "Hey, I don't have a problem with look at the results."
But
that
when I
it
brought up
brings.
Abraham, you was kind of like, that
She
might be
gets a little
bit too
mystical.
culty. But that's because Abraham is her. That's supposed to be. Okay, I'm going somewhere else with this guy. So Abraham is actually the person she's channeling. I think it's Abraham, and then I forgot her actual real name.
I think her name is like Louise or something. Like
something.
I don't know.
She
But
always
anyhow,
says,
what
but
did you say to me?
Anyhow, Abraham Hicks talks about resistance, and it's equivalent to me when it comes to faith.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask God or whoever you believe in to help you out in certain areas, you pray about it and you let it go.
Okay, so that's what you did.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to master.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm getting back to the New Way House when you were having a conversation with me.
You got to let me finish, Bridgett.
Oh, I was like, where's she going? My bad.
Let me finish.
So that was the setup. My bad.
Yeah, that was the setup.
Okay.
So, because this is what I was saying to you. I was giving Abraham as an example with the faith.
Okay.
So I was like, it's kind of like how when it comes to having faith, you pray about something, you ask for it, and you just, you let it go. And then Abraham, she talks about having resistance and how you're supposed to ask for it and let it go. But when we continue to think on it and we continue to ask for it and we can't let it go,
you did say that. Okay.
It pulls the whatever you're asking for, it pulls it back to you instead of letting it go and just blossom into what you need it to blossom into and produce.
Okay, put it in layman's terms.
I mean, I'm trying to put them in layman's terms as hard as much as I can. Basically, when you're praying, you pray, you have to let it go. When you continue to harp on it, it keeps it right there with you instead of letting it go and letting it blossom.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, so I think about how we were talking about moms and children and things of that matter. So say if I'm asked, like a child asks their mom, say, "Hey, mom, can you buy me a bike?" And mom say, "Yes, I'm going to buy you a bike," but the bike hasn't shown up yet. But maybe you say, "I'm gonna buy you a bike for your birthday," and your birthday is like 2 months from now. But so you spend the whole 2 months. You gonna buy me a bike? You gonna buy me a bike? You gonna buy me a bike? And mom's like, "I said yeah." So that's what you're saying as far as like when you pray, like just put it out there.
Exactly.
Trust that God is gonna present it.
Exactly.
And let it go.
Yes, you don't have to continue to harp on it.
So that's what you were telling me as far as looking for a man.
Yes, I was basically letting her know it's gonna come to you. You already put it out there. Don't keep creating that feedback loop about it because it's gonna come.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's gonna come.
But let me tell y'all something.
What you gonna tell us? Cause that let me tell y'all something.
I do not promote being a single, independent, strong woman. Yes, it's okay to take care of yourself. Keep yourself looking good. Have some business about yourself. But come on, girl. We need somebody. Like, life is not to be lived alone. You know what I mean? Everybody say, just wait on God. Okay, but you got to put in some work too.
Now you do have to put in.
You got to position yourself.
Yeah. You can't just
like
you
Ruth
do have
did
to
with
put
Boaz.
in some type of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You just don't make it a thing because sometimes that feedback loop, we default to the negative emotions and negative feelings because we're not receiving that prayer or whatever that we're requesting
Yeah.
for from the higher up. We're not receiving it right now,
Right.
and then you start to get bitter about it. And that's the energy you don't want to stew in because you're really not going to get it, or you're going to get something that you don't want.
And I'm going to say this one last thing about it, because we started off talking about like superstitions and things of that matter. I think one of the things that I found myself a little bit on edge about when it comes to the church and Christianity is like, well, churches that I've been to and the women that I've talked to in the church, it's a lot of single women in church that tell young girls, just wait on God, just wait on Jesus. Jesus is my boyfriend. Jesus is my husband. And I'm like,
That has been something about the church that,
that's
it's not
they're
clear.
they're promoting this strong single black woman epidemic.
And they're promoting thinking that people will take that in the layman's terms, because I feel like that's how I was, like thinking things you don't have to do too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a puppeteer type situation. It's like, no, like you have will, so you have to will things.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Only if God just took over and did everything. I was saying that on the way here,
Oh
like,
my gosh,
why do I
that
have to
would
have
be
free
nice.
will?
That would be
Yeah.
nice. Some of this confusion wouldn't be fusion. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying?
God.
In a real way.
But I want to leave. I want to like my going statement is this: like, I know a lot of us feel like we are doomed to generational curses, but before anybody could put a curse on us, God put a blessing on us. So walk in the abundance and love, and not fear, lack, and scarcity.
Right.
So just
All
focus more on
detachment.
that. Focus on your vision, not the past, not what may have been taught to you. Like, know what you want and go after that.
Amen. Amen. I
Amen.
totally agree with that. And on that note, please, we're on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. On Instagram, it is pause_proceed. And YouTube, Pause and Proceed Podcast. And we will see you guys next week.
Love you.
Peace.